Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Paradisia. On this episode I'm going to be doing all of the detailing work for the airport here that we built in the last episode. Now this detailing work, oh wow, I spent I'd say about 5 or 6 hours just building and detailing and getting everything the way I wanted it, and I could have spent much longer doing it. I had to stop myself. I had to reach a point to where I told myself to stop, because if I didn't, this could have gone on for another 1 to 2 more episodes, and I don't think you guys want to sit through 3 episodes of airport work. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look here at what I'm doing. Now, the first thing I wanted to do in this episode was to do the lighting for this, I guess the statue here that we have in the very front, or the entrance of the airport. It's a beautiful piece of art, and I think it needed some accent lighting, so anybody coming in at night, you know, when you see this from the road, it'll be nice, well lit, and it'll look fantastic. Now, I messed around with this lighting for quite some time. I think it took me a few tries to get it the way I wanted it, to get the colors the way I wanted them, but I did eventually get that all taken care of. So this will actually go on for a little while I get this lighting all sorted out. I tried a bunch of different colors and everything. I don't recall which ones I settled on. I guess we'll both find out here in a minute. I think I settled with I think this was close to where I settled with right there. Yeah, with the 2 red ones in the front, and then some of the other colors around it. Then I'm going to go ahead and add in some bushes and some more palm trees here. You're going to see this a lot. I'm going to use a lot of palm trees in this area because, I mean, we are on an island, and it's a resort island. Some of the palm trees are natural, some of them are placed. Now, of course, all of the ones here at the airport, these were all, you know, placed by hand. They were, you can imagine, you know, a landscaping company coming in and placing all of these palm trees just to make it look good. So that's what this is just going to be, is a bunch of detailing work for flowers and palms and things like that. Now, I did want to take a minute and thank everybody who's been watching these videos. Now, the first video I did, which was just the building of the airport, I think it got like about 100 views in the first day or 2 days of being up, which is phenomenal considering not many people watch my videos and YouTube doesn't like to suggest them to people. So I'm pretty proud of that, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. So, you know, definitely stick around and leave those comments down there in the bottom. Let me know what you think of this, and I definitely love interacting with you guys, so, you know, keep it coming. So right here I'm putting in the letters for the airport. I took a little while, and it took some time to think about what letters I wanted to use. You know, I kind of got this inspiration from LAX, and I didn't want to use anything with an X in it because I just didn't want to pull that type of airport code or whatever it is they use for these nicknames or these names for these airports. I went with the name PIA, which is, you know, Paradisia International Airport. That might change. I mean, if you guys can come up with something better, go ahead. That would be pretty cool. But I'm going to leave this as it is for right now, as PIA. Then, of course, more lighting. I sit there and I work a little while with the lighting there to get that just right. And then I move on to these pylons. Now, these pylons are, if any of you ever been to LAX, or if you've seen pictures of LAX, they have these multicolored pylon lights all over the place, and I thought they were awesome. And I felt like maybe my airport needed this, so I went ahead and I put them in everywhere. Did I overdo it? Probably, but it looks cool at night, which you'll see. You know, you saw there was a night shot. There's a few more night shots as well. As I do the lighting, I like to make it dark so I can take a look and see what it's going to look like. And then the next part here, I just want to get a nice road down the middle because we're going to put some parking in. And what I do here is I do some flat parking, and I put in a rental car place as well, which you'll see that shortly. I figure with the airport being here, most airports, or every airport you go to that's a major airport, have rental car hubs, or you know, quite a few different rental car places. Now this one only has just one, but it's good enough for the size of airport that we have. And of course with these parking lots, I place them down, and the Move It tool is fantastic for getting things lined up and getting everything where you want it to be. It's amazing. It's probably the best. I still think it's one of the best mods when it comes to detailing. It's one of the best mods you can have. And here we go. I just have a road going right through the middle of it there. That way, traffic can get from one side to the other, and then they can get to each of the parking lots there. I think that'll help it seem more. I think it'll help it seem more active, I guess, when the Sims start going through and when cars start driving through here. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to just give you a little bit of music and go on with the time lapse, because there's just a bunch of detail work here with what's going on, and I don't want to sit here and bore you to death with my commentary the whole time. And then what I'll do is I'll pop back in whenever there's something really interesting that I wanted to point out. And yeah, I'm not very good at this commentary. I'm sorry. It'll get better. Trust me. I just need to do it more. It's kind of strange. I don't know if you've ever made any YouTube videos or anything like that. It's strange sitting here talking to your computer and talking to a mic while watching the gameplay footage. It's hard to explain. You get kind of a, if you haven't done it often, or if you don't do it a lot, you get a kind of a nervous feeling too. Like I feel like I'm performing, but I'm not really talking to anybody, if that makes sense. Like, I know you guys are listening to it and I'm talking to you guys, but it's just weird. It's hard to explain, and you have to do it right, because if not, you've got a bunch of stuff you got to cut out, a bunch of editing. It's just a mess. So I apologize for my commentary. Sometimes it can get a little weird, and sometimes I just don't know what to say, so there'll be weird, awkward silences. I'm good at awkward silence. I do that a lot. So, alright, enough rambling. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go here with the time lapse and the music, and I will be back here shortly with some more commentary on some other stuff later on that I really wanted to point out, some stuff that I was pretty proud of. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. And I'm back. Did you miss me? So what I'm doing here, you can see I laid out a little cross. I'm making a bit of a compass, or a just an indicator for me to use as I'm doing the numbering here for the runway. Now, as I'm sure some of you may know, may or may not know, the way the runway numbering works is you have your numbering for your runway is based on the degrees of a compass. So for instance, the compass that I made there, the indicator for north is 360 degrees. So this runway, it's not pointing directly at 360. If you were to divide that up, it's actually pointing at 340 degrees. So this is going to be runway 34, and then as you're looking at the runway, you've got 34 right on your right hand side and 34 left, and then opposite that is 160 degrees. So of course the other side of the runway is runway 16, and then looking at that is 16 left and then 16 right. Now they may not be exact. Of course, it's hard to determine what is actually north and south and east and west for my island here. But what I did was I turned on the day-night cycle and moved it to sunrise and moved it to sunset just to see approximately where the sun was rising and sun was setting, and I based it off of that. So again, it's not exact, but you can only do so much. I mean, it's a game, it's not real life, so it's not like I can hire a survey crew to come out here and do everything. So right here I'm putting on the decals on the runway for the different markings, which I go back and fix because I realize some of them are wrong. Of course, the two wide single lines on each side, that's your touchdown zone, or that's your aiming point. And then the other markers are, I think they're like length markers. I think one of them is set for like 2,000 feet, one is set for 1,500 feet, and one is set for something else. I'm not sure what the exact is. I'm not a pilot, so I'm sure somebody in the comments can correct me and let me know what all of that is. And then of course here I'm putting down the lighting. We've got the approach lights, and then the I think it's the PAPI lights that go right here at the at the touchdown zone, or at the aiming point. And I believe the way those work is if you're on your approach and you're on your glide slope and it's correct, then the lights light up a certain way. I'm not sure how that works. Again, I'm not a pilot. Somebody else can let me know how that exactly works, but I've got the lighting put in there for that, and I have it as accurate as I can have it. Now, it was pointed out to me that these runways are kind of short, and I definitely agree, the runways are short. However, I'm limited on space, and the game itself, the planes in the game, if you've ever played it, and if you've ever watched them land at an airport, they can stop on a dime. I don't know what kind of brakes they have, I don't know what kind of reverse thrust they're working with, but they can stop almost instantly. So they only use like a third of the runway, maybe. But yes, I do agree the runways are a little short, but again, it's what I can do with the space I have, and it's not going to be 100% realistic because there are still limitations here with the game. Now here I'm putting in these are the like the stop lines or something like that. It's where the planes would stop before taxiing onto the runway. So if they have to, it's like their holding area. It's where they would hold behind that line while waiting for another plane or something to land or take off. I know that much, I think. I could still be wrong, who knows. And then here I'm doing just some of the lighting. There's these I guess indicator lights that go with the taxiways as well. I'm not sure if they're in the right spot either. Any of you aviation experts out there, let me know. I can make some changes to make everything right. These lines there in the middle, I think I eventually get rid of those. I don't like how they sit. So, because you can see, because of the terrain, for some reason the line itself is elevated, and it just looks kind of strange. I might look on the workshop and see if I can find something that is set as a decal instead of a prop, because it's set as a prop, so it's going to be snapping to the surface instead of a decal where it would be painted on the surface. So I need to take a look into that. Now here I've decided the one thing the airport was missing was the service road that goes around it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in here. I just do a nice service road that goes all the way around the entire outside of the airport. It goes around the outside of the runway. and I think it adds a nice finishing touch to the backside of the airport here. Alright, now that I've got most of the front part of the airport and the terminal done and most of the runway done, I figured it was time to take care of some of the other odds and ends in the backside of the airport here. First thing was, of course, replacing those awful green helipads. I went ahead and I've replaced those now with some other ones here I pulled off the workshop that look a lot better on the asphalt than that green one did. And then I'm looking at different hangars. I wanted to drop a couple hangars here by the helipads, but it just wasn't quite working out the way I wanted it to. So I kind of scrapped that idea and decided to go with something a little different here, which I think right here is where I'm going to throw a hangar off to the side as like a private plane hangar. I feel like that is a lot better than what I was trying to go for on the other side. Also, the hangars are actually limited. There's not very many on the workshop currently, and I'm not good at making assets at all. I've done a little research and tried to figure out how to do it, and I'm just not good enough at 3D modeling to try to do anything like that. So I might make a custom asset or try to do it at some point once I get a little more comfortable with it. But right now, it looks a bit over my head, but it's definitely something I want to learn at some point. So here I'm adding, or as you see, I just added the, I believe it's a fire department, but it's a fire helicopters. I figured that was a nice addition right there. You know, it's at the airport, it's close to the water, so they can pick up water if they need to put out any fires. I was trying to add in an actual firehouse, and I decided that what I would do is I would use the helicopter depot for the fire department and just add in some fire truck assets to the actual helicopter depot itself instead of having a separate fire station. And I figured that worked out. I think that worked out a lot better than doing an actual independent fire station there. And then I, of course, throw a couple more around just to make it a little more realistic, you know. And then I found these little baggage carts, and I wanted to put those here. As you can see, I did add a couple little hangar type buildings in between, in that empty space between the terminals, as like baggage processing, and maybe I don't know if it'd be a hangar. It's a little too small to be a hangar itself, but maybe it's a hangar for small planes. Who knows? You can think about, you can use it for anything. Use your imagination. Let's go with that. Then I looked at this big hangar here. I wanted to add a plane sitting outside of it. I like the little private jet asset, and I used that a couple times at the main hangar, and or at the main terminal, and I just tossed one here at this hangar. And I was looking for, I thought I had a helicopter asset to place down, but I didn't have one, so I might have to maybe do that and download an asset for that later. Now I did add also here the Doppler Radar for the, I guess they use that for like weather tracking and other radar type of stuff. Again, I'm not an airport expert. I don't know what all of this is. So anybody who wants to shed some light on it, definitely please do. Let us know. Alright, and then I think there was another like instrument or some other type of transmitter that they use, and I wanted to try to put it on top of the tower, but prop snapping wasn't letting that happen, so I just dropped it down here next to the radar and just left it like that. I think it looks alright. I was also looking for some decals for skid marks or something, some like dark markings to put right there in the touchdown zone, because if you look at a runway, any active runway has a ton of just like rubber, a ton of skid marks where all the planes are touching down, and I didn't have a decal for that. I am gonna have to see if I can find something on the workshop for that, but I did go with these other decals for like the tires and things like that, and I put them around the jetways there as an indication of them being used, like like the baggage trucks and the meal trucks and things like that, the cargo vehicles. I feel like they would leave some sort of tire marks after much repeated use and things like that. Now here I'm just putting down some lighting for the helipads. Again, it's not very dark, so I actually add a few more lights around it just to make it a little brighter here. I was going to add some actual lighting and some light poles around it, but I figured that would not be a good idea considering, poles and planes and helicopters and everything, just not good. I don't want to have a giant pole next to a helipad. I might do some ground lighting. I'll go back later and put some ground lighting on there. Anyway, I got way off top. I got way distracted there and kept going while the video continues. I'm on to a new place here. Wow. So I took that area of the parking lot and I felt that it needed some more green space. It was too much pavement. So I did that with the little corner, and then I threw some bushes around the signage here to make it all beautified. Call it prettified. Did some beautification work around it. I like the way that turned out with those palm trees, and then I do some colored bushes around it. And I think this looks really nice. I like it. I was pleased with what the outcome was. And after this is pretty cool. Right here behind the sign, I actually do a little like a park, I guess, but it's an airplane park. And I take a plane here, you'll see in just a moment, and I turn a decommissioned airliner into like a statue or into a park, which you'll see this. It's almost like a plane you would see at like a museum, or sitting out at any type of aviation museum. But instead, we just got it sitting out here as a prop for the park and for the sitting area. So, let's say if you're coming to pick somebody up from the airport and you get here early, you can go over there, have a seat, take a look at the plane, enjoy the shade. It's pretty cool. I don't know what I'm doing here. I spent a lot of time looking at the menus for nothing. I heard there's a new search bar out. I need to take a look into that and install that, because the search bar that I have right now for my assets is it's not as good as I'd like it to be. So you see there, I'm using any of you watch Strict Toaster. I actually have a few of his planes there, are the ones that were made for his builds, and I was going to use one of those, but I thought no, I think I'll use this one, and then whenever I get around to maybe having a Paradisia plane, then I'll replace it with one of those. But right now I'm just using one of these transcontinental planes. And then I, of course, put a little wall around it and throw some benches down and just have a nice little park area with the plane. It does look a little big. It's hanging over the road a little bit, but it's high enough off the road so it won't be clipping into any cars. So I think it's okay there. I'd like to maybe have it elevated or something, but for right now, this is I'm okay with it. I think it's pretty cool. I could only imagine how they got the plane out there, like having to take it from where it was, back in the back of the airport, and then having it trucked just to the front here. That had to have been like a logistical nightmare trying to get that taken care of. Anyway, so yes, here's the park. I just had to place down some of the people park generators. That way people will actually come hang out at this thing and make it somewhat useful. Alright, and then here we're just going to be adding a few more props. Got some food trucks and something else that I put down. And that's really it. I mean, this is the point where, I was putting this stuff down and I was thinking about all the stuff that I could do. And then I had to stop. I had to stop myself and be like, hey, dude, you gotta move on. You can't do the airport. You can't do the airport for, a whole 2 days. So, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that pretty much does it for the airport here. This is just a few of the final details that I'm adding in, and seeing what other props I can add in, and pretty much forcing myself to stop. So yeah, if you guys like this detail work, if you like the video, don't forget to drop a thumbs up down there at the bottom. And if you haven't subscribed yet, definitely subscribe, and be sure to hit that little bell icon. That way you'll be notified every time I upload a video. And if you have anything you'd like to add or any comments, don't forget to leave them down in the comments below. I try to respond to just about everybody, so don't be afraid to comment there. I definitely take your input seriously, and I would like to know what you guys think about this, honestly. So yeah, I definitely appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.